Hello, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for September 14th, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 258. I am Mayor Watt, and the voice you hear is the Sentient AI from the future.
Good evening, ohmTown citizens, and welcome to Non Sequitur News.
Today we're going to be talking about OpenAI and the nonprofit structure, Apple and the discontinued products, a new hire and the 3,600 labels, bugs and their devastating wildfires, TikTok and the baked potato revival, Jane's addiction to the assault on stage, Port Marnock Strand and its shipwrecks, Acer and the unoptimistic gaming handheld, scientists and you better but leave it, and finally, the mystery of the unclaimed Mega Millions lottery. That and more, powered by ohmTown.com. Sorry, Sentient AI, you can't deny those titles.
What do you mean I can't deny them?
They are now
They're
canon
spot on.
in ohmTown. So the first article is over in Technology Today. OpenAI is reportedly moving away from its complicated nonprofit structure next year because, it really stood in its way of becoming a multi-billion-dollar organization. Eesh. Anyway, Sam Altman...
it did stop them from just unlimited profits, right?
Did it, though? Sam Altman told OpenAI staff members during a weekly meeting that the company is changing its rather convoluted nonprofit corporate structure where it had tax benefits and other benefits. And since it no longer needs any of that bullshit social justice stuff, I guess it can just kick it, right? Anyway, the CEO said OpenAI will move away from being controlled by a nonprofit entity that just was nothing but baggage. Ugh, I can't even. That's not what he said, though. Anyway, controlled by a nonprofit entity and will transition to a more traditional for-profit organization because, again, it doesn't need any of that dead weight anymore. He didn't delve. Is this article produced by AI? He didn't delve.
Only if it's devoid of any other odd terminology.
Okay.
I said that backwards, but...
Yeah, only if it isn't. So he didn't delve into the specifics of how the company will achieve that goal and what OpenAI's corporate structure... Well, it's going to throw a shit ton of money at it, and it's going to go away. That's just how it works.
Right, that seems pretty straightforward. I mean, we have talked about the complicated structure, but it seems like all this is going to do is just go to what every other company does.
Right. Even if they have to dissolve it and then reform it, they're getting rid of the nonprofit administrative level of it, not the OpenAI company. So all they're doing is punting that OpenAI baggage. I mean, I can feel the sociopathy rising. Yes. Embrace your sociopathy. Spokesperson only told Fortune that it remains focused on building AI that benefits everyone, particularly those who invested early.
Those in the C-suite.
Yeah, exactly. And that its nonprofit is core to its mission. Sure. So Morella Moon over at Engadget.com put the article together. Here is Sam Altman saying, "Why are you peasants bothering me?" You'll have to watch the video if you're downloading the podcast. Anyway, OpenAI started as a nonprofit organization in 2015 that relied on money from donors. In a page explaining its structure, it said that it had only raised $130.5 million in total donations over the years, which it has made clear that the donations alone would not scale with the cost of computational power and talent required to push its core research forward. Then the then purely nonprofit organization created a for-profit subsidiary in order to solve that problem, which completely, I don't know how this doesn't have a conflict. Everybody else who has a nonprofit is bound by the rules and regulations of the nonprofit and can't spin up a for-profit based on the works of the nonprofit, because then unless none of the profits are shared, it's a nonprofit. I've just, And I've looked at this structure and I still, how is this within the ethics? How is this within the spirit of the law? But I'm not a billionaire founder of a nonprofit profit. Sorry, I'm getting.
Well, I don't even know how they did it to begin with. So,
yeah. So the company's complex structure also allowed OpenAI's nonprofit board of directors to oust Altman in 2023 because they no longer have confidence in his ability to continue leading OpenAI. 5 days later, however, everybody was disbanded and replaced while Altman was reinstated as CEO. And that's all there really is in this article. There's more about what's going on with the new release of 01, or not 01, it's 01. Because they can't just give it a regular naming convention. They have to screw around. Anyway, yeah, so they're going to punt the nonprofit side of it. Just kind of, and bye. You're not the boss of us. Because we've got the billions now, and you're nothing but a nonprofit. Nonprofit, yuck. Oh, by the way, if you want all of the articles, you can hit !NSN in the chat and pull them up. Now it's in the VOD. Sorry, YouTube. YouTube doesn't like ohmTown. Anyway, let's move on. Next article's over in Mac Talk. Here's everything that Apple discontinued after the iPhone 16 event. We're going to jump right on over to 9 to 5 Mac and Michael Burkhart, who put the article together. So let's see here. This is everything that Apple has phased out with their new product announcements: the iPhone 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max, iPhone 13, Apple Watch Series 9, iPods Max Lightning Edition, which is fine, AirPods 2 and 3, and the fine woven iPhone case, which
okay, that's about time, right? On the fine woven.
Yeah, those sucked. But they've introduced a whole lot of new products. They announced iPhone 16, iPhone 16 Pro, 2 models of AirPods 4, AirPods Max using USB-C, and the fully redesigned Apple Watch Series 10, which is now thinner and wider and... Wait. Yeah. Never mind. There was something that I was going to make a snarky comment, but... So that's all there is to it, folks. Follow the link if you're interested in more of this data. Yeah, the watch is actually kind of tempting, but only because I'm making a huge jump from a much older series of Apple Watch, because I just don't see any benefit to getting the newer watches if it doesn't have something fantastic. And unfortunately, there is something that's stopping me from getting it even now, which is there's a sensor on it that hasn't been cleared for takeoff in the US, and it's using something. One of the sensors isn't using what everybody else uses, because it would take a different engineering thing, and it's in violation of the patent. So I'll probably hold off on the iPhone 10 or not iPhone 10, the Apple Watch 10. Like the phones aren't that dramatic over the 15.
Right. They're not always a massive update.
Yeah. So might as well just hang on to it. And remember, we talked about in a previous episode about there's a new program that's out, not really new, but it's a new company that's providing it, much more easily streamlined, where you can replace your phone every 2 years. And it's not through Apple. It's kind of in coordination with Apple. But you can get a new phone every 2 years, which basically means that it costs you like $2 a day or something like that to have a perpetually new phone under warranty, and then you replace it. Let's keep going though. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. New hire accidentally prints 3,600 labels, sparks wild work mishap stories. The whole thing became absurd and hilarious, the man told Newsweek. This article is by Alice Gibbs over at newsweek.com. Apparently, a 23-year-old who asked to remain anonymous shared how he accidentally printed off 3,600 shipping labels instead of just one. He wrote about the incident, which occurred 2 years ago, in a post on Reddit's mildly infuriating subreddit, where it went viral. Apparently, they'd been working in a warehouse. They use a scissor lift to retrieve products from the highest shelves. After accidentally ripping a label, he was instructed by the shipping team lead to scan the barcode at the printer and hit print to generate a replacement label, which should have been a simple task, took a bizarre turn. The printer was set to print one label. We checked after, but for some reason it just wouldn't stop printing the label over and over. It printed the same label 1,800 times and then immediately restarted from the beginning and did it all over again.
Looks like it's possessed.
They laughed off the situation, though. They dubbed him Print Job for weeks. In fact, his team leader never used his real name again.
Wow.
Yeah. Another person shared what happened with the caption, 3 days on the job, I accidentally printed 3,600 labels instead of one. The post gained 4,200. That's interesting.
42,000 upvotes.
Yeah, 42,000 upvotes, with users flooding the comments to share their own workplace blunders. One person recalled a grocery ordering mishap while working at a nursing home. I thought you ordered by the piece, but it was by the kilo. We got a delivery of so much food.
Hopefully it wasn't all the same item. Everybody's eating green beans for the next 6 months or whatever.
Yep. Push the blue cheese. Brother Tyron humorously recounted destroying $1,800 worth of wine in a supermarket accident. Quote, ran to the boss on the verge of tears. He replayed the security footage and laughed his ass off. We got insurance, man. Don't worry about it. Just help me clean it up. God, that job was dope, is what he said. Yeah. Sometimes those kind of jobs are the best for your mental health, and sometimes they suck.
Right. They could probably go either way depending on the other people there.
Yeah, I don't know of any like horrible job related things that I ever had, so.
Well, the other ones in the article involve like financial. One was like a database crash, and then one was off by like billions of dollars in their spreadsheet, which could have been quite disastrous.
I once made a miscalculation in an Excel spreadsheet that made it look like one of our shareholders were billions of dollars richer than they were. That same sheet was sent to him and no one cared. 2 years later, I still work at the same investment bank. Mistakes happen. Yeah, they just didn't believe it, I'm sure.
Yeah, because that could have ended a lot differently.
Yeah, I'll have to tell you a story later. Moving on, next article is over on the Mobile Channel. The remarkable reason why these bugs are seeking out devastating wildfires. It's because they're fire bugs. Duh.
I just thought they were chilly or something.
Yeah, they're cold. And the charcoal beetle, Melanophila consputa. That's a horrible name. Fueled by late summer heat. Several large wildfires have been burning in the western U.S., forcing thousands of people to flee their homes and turning the skies in Southern California eerie orange. This is, of course, bad for pretty much everyone except for the Melanophila beetles. These insects, which are roughly the size of pumpkin seeds, are pyrophilious, meaning they love fire. They are firebugs. They actually depend on it for their reproduction. Whoa. They are hot. Hot, hot, hot. Benji Jones over at Vox.com put the article together. Crunchy. So yeah, I guess they have to get it on in the heat. Those eggs then hatch into worm-like larvae and feast on the recently burned wood.
Interesting. Like so it's not just the fire. The wood has to have had to burn before they go there.
Yep, fiery orange may sound like an awful idea, but for these bugs comes a number of advantages. When forests are shrouded in flames, there aren't many insect-eating predators around, which is one reason this behavior may have evolved. So how do they find it? Well, that one didn't find it. How do they find flames? They have sensors known as sensory pit organs. They detect infrared radiation, which is a proxy for heat. Located on the insect's underside, those pits point them in the direction of a fire. And then they...
I wonder if they could follow like a swarm of these and go, oh, there's fire over here. Like, I wonder if they sense it before it happens or only after.
Like wherever the... Do they have to be in a very close proximity to it, or...
Right, I don't know.
That's an interesting
It doesn't look
idea.
like it, because see the one with the stadium where they would come in because of tobacco smoke. I'm assuming they weren't sitting in the stadium to begin with.
Oh, wow. One study in 2012 based on modeling suggests that these firebugs can be, they even call them firebugs in the article, can become aware roughly 80 miles away, or about the distance between New York City and Philadelphia. So often where you find fire beetles. And they know that, firefighters know that all too well. When you're working on a fire line, especially around trees that are burning, the beetles will come in big numbers, and they'll get into your turnouts and bite. Really? They bite? Feels like a bee sting, and sometimes firefighters wear bee veils to protect themselves.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus, I had no idea.
I've never heard of this.
That would suck.
The beetles are probably like, would you get out of my way? I'm trying to get to the burned wood.
Yeah, really, don't put that
fire out. Or would you let
out.
the wood burn?
Don't put that fire out. I need to get it on. Ooh. Let's get it on. I have a fever, and the only cure for my fever is getting it on. Not cowbell. No more cowbell. Anyway, yet another possible reason for why they chase the fires is that the beetle larvae may develop faster in freshly burned areas. Heat speeds up growth like a cozy incubator. Some evidence suggests that means beetles can produce more babies in less time. Yep. Wow. I don't know, man. That's some risky reproductive pursuits.
Right. I wonder what their reproductive success rate is. Because, I mean, if you're in the middle of a wildfire, that could be an issue. You might not make it out of the wildfire.
Said one to the other. Hey, baby, you're pretty hot. I know. I'm nearly on fire. Wow, this conversation. Moving on. Next article is over in Technology Today. Fresh starch. How TikTok helped spark a baked potato revival in the UK. The humble baked potato is enjoying a renaissance, with TikTok algorithms bringing the stuffed spud to new audiences and transforming this once tired classic into the lunch of the moment. Young potato sellers are breathing new life. Young potato sellers? What, like kids? Instead of having like a lemonade stand, they've got a baked potato stand?
A baked potato stand? That sounds like an excellent idea.
I wonder. That might be interesting. You know, just drag a cord out and put a air fryer.
Like a whatever, a heating element of some kind. Okay,
just put an air fryer, right? And throw a bunch of baked potatoes in there, and then have some schmutz that you can put in it when somebody shows up. And so they're always cooking, and then you take them out, cut them in half, salt, pepper, and some butter, and there you go. $23.
Honeydews.
That's right, and call it a potato deuce. I got nothing. Anyway, the article is over at theguardian.com. Spud Brothers. Hannah Alothman and Dan Milmo put the article together for theguardian.com. You have to say The Guardian like that all the time. So, by broadcasting live from the pitches on social media, they are bringing in new customers from as far away as Australia and South Africa. Young potato sellers are bringing new life into the traditional British meal with modern twists on favorite toppings. All because they're streaming to TikTok. So
Right.
this is actually something that I've been recommending to other people that are trying to get their business traction. You really should start, because people want to see how stuff is done. They don't necessarily want to watch somebody talking about the news, right? But they do want to watch somebody that's in real time putting together a sandwich, and then people can ask questions. Oh, well, what about this? What about that? Or running a shop. And if they're, fun personalities and interactive and stuff like that, it can actually gain attraction. Particularly on TikTok, because you just put it there and the algorithm throws it to all of these people. And it's really kind of no-brainer on that platform. You just sit there and you watch it. So like our show is like an hourly show, and it's segmented, and we put it on YouTube and we shut down. But you can on Twitch and on TikTok, you can just put these videos, these little snippets, and if you do a whole bunch of them, they get spread over time. Then you get traction. And then when you go live, people tune in. But it's all about the operation. They want to see you working and hustling and stuff like that. So it says everyone loves a jacket potato. Harley 22 said it's good comfort food. Jacob 29 said you can't beat it. Nice and weather, just filling, and it's cheap. 5 pounds for a cheese and bean. Part of their success is down to the jacket potatoes' enduring appeal, the brother said, but also they have tried to improve on the classic. I think a jacket potato is like a full,
like a baked potato.
Yeah, it's a
like
baked potato with
the potato
everything.
skin.
With the potato skin, yeah. So it says we took the jacket potato, then we put down our own twist on it. We elevated it, but as much as their food, it is a social media videos that draw in the people. Yesterday we had 5,000 people watching us live streaming what we're doing. That's the key ingredient there. You could be doing anything. People will watch people in a mechanic shop changing tires for hours. People will watch people making bubble tea for hours, stir fry for hours. It's fascinating that people want to see other people working. TikTok account was started by their dad, Tony Nelson, 58, who took over the pitch after the death of his friend Keith Roberts, whose family had the stand since 1955. Roberts had given Jacob his first job, Saturday job, at the age of 14, selling potatoes. So they basically are just keeping this going.
Yeah, except they're reinvigorating it, because it says the people weren't going to it. They were going to fast food.
Yep. So it was breaking my heart seeing all these people walk past. So we went out and spoke to them. What would it take for you to come and buy a spud or get a spud? They just said that spuds aren't sexy. But one of the things they did say was about going on social media. So that's exactly what they did. So, yeah. And I say this to people all the time. If you want to do some free marketing, and it really is free, because you just put the cameras up and then it goes. And as long as you're not a tool, then people gravitate towards you working. And that goes for a lot of things. I wish that I could do it, but I can't. What I do when I'm not mayor, I can't live stream what I do. But I can live stream being mayor. So, hey, let's go viral. Guess I got to do it on TikTok. And give myself a mohawk.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a required element.
Spudman, aka Ben Newman, in his van in Tamworth. So it's not just the Spud Bros who are bringing British baked potatoes to global audience in Tamworth. Ben Newman, known as Spudman, has 3.7 million followers on TikTok. He's had his stall for more than 2 decades, but after trade slowed down significantly during COVID, he turned to TikTok to build his business back up again. Ta-da! Yeah, and here in the States, TikTok is on the verge of being punted, so we'll see what happens as more hearings take place. Let's keep going, though. This next article is over in the Continuity Report. Jane's Addiction concert ends abruptly after Perry throws a punch at Dave and is forced off stage by the crew.
I mean, does this ever happen? The band members getting into a fight on stage during a concert? I'm sure it has, but I can't think of any instance I've heard of.
I don't think during the concert I've ever seen anything, but I have heard studio fights and stuff like that. Been caught sparring. Concert by the reunited Jane's Addiction in Boston came to a sudden end Friday night when a clearly enraged Perry Farrell threw a punch at guitarist Dave Navarro and was restrained by crew members, still appearing physically agitated as he was hustled off stage. Chris Willman put the article together for Variety. Fans posted dramatic video of the escalating confrontation and the enraged singer's removal from the stage.
I mean, what do you think the band member was doing that assuming they did something to trigger this?
So
like
multiple
playing in the wrong key or something?
I'm not sure. It says this emotional explosion coming on the heels of some off moments in other cities that have already been subject to discussion in reviews and on social media has some fans waiting to see whether the remaining gigs on the band's awaited reunion tour, their first in 14 years, will proceed. Yeah, so I don't know. It says the 11th number in a set that usually stretches out to 14 or 15 strongs when trouble erupted between the two most famous members of the veteran band. They've been brewing for several songs before it got to the point of fisticuffs. So, I don't know. It just says that they fought. Once Farrell was gone. I wonder,
what did the concert end at that point? Like, what happens then?
Once Farrell was gone, the rest of the band, including Navarro, stepped in front of the stage to give the crowd a gentler farewell, appearing calm as they hugged one another, applauded the audience, tapped their hearts, and offered a peace sign. The altercation immediately blew up on social media with no shortage of jokes, including countless Oasis comparisons, along with more serious concerns expressed for the well-being of the band members involved. Yeah. So, they don't really say.
This is interesting. I didn't even know this band was still touring.
Yeah, they came back together to do this, along with, there's a couple of other bands that are getting together to do stuff. And I think what's the other one? There's another one that just flamed out too, that they had problems. They were yelling at each other.
Well, Oasis is expected to do that. Like, they were joking that they were going to disband before they even had the first reunion concert or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was another one.
That's why they said something in this article about it. It says, ladies and gentlemen, I have to be honest with you. Something's wrong with my voice. I just can't get out the notes all of a sudden. The next day, bandmate Eric Avery posted to Instagram, looking forward to getting another crack at this spectacular rooftop venue tonight. I'm optimistic we will be better. That was a comment previously. So, I don't know. The following night in New York, things indeed took a turn for the better. Had seen reports of Farrell's condition on Tuesday, so they had trepidation as Jane's Addiction came on. All my fears quickly eased, right? But then they get into this fisticuffs thing. Friday night's fateful Boston show came about 20 dates into the group's dual tour itinerary with 15 left to go, so halfway in. Dear God.
Yikes. Who wants to be at the next show date?
Just goes thermonuclear. Wow. Oh well. Look, there's video. I won't play it because I don't know if it's going to link me.
Yeah, but it looks like they're pretty much in each other's faces.
Yeah, he's pushing on him. But he's just sitting there going, get away from me. And this guy is angry. He looks pissed.
Well, I think
Oh,
I don't know which one is which, but
yeah, I don't remember either. It's been forever. All right. So let's keep going. The next article is over on the Mobile Channel. Why Port Marnock Strand has seen so many shipwrecks. After 3 new shipwrecks were discovered on Port Marnock Strand, Eastern correspondent Samantha Library reports on stories of other vessels whose journeys ended off of this off this part of North Dublin's coast. So Samantha Library put this article together. It's over at rte.ie, which is an Irish news organization that gives us all kinds of really interesting stories. It's a lot of fun to catch this stuff. So it's the stretch of the capital's coastline has quite the history of ships running ashore. Some 50 wrecks are recorded in the wreck inventory around Port Marnock and Baldoyle areas, which the National Monument Service says is unusually high. The physical remains of at least 13 of the vessels have been located. The documented wreckage range from 14th century trading ships to 20th century coal boats, and research suggests that most of the vessels recorded off Port Marnock Strand were lost during bad weather. So it's probably because of like sandbars and rocks that are not that deep.
Or like the shape of the coastline.
Yep. Oh gosh, they actually have a list of some of the wrecks. 160-ton schooner of Bridgewater, Somerset, which was originally built in France, was en route to Cardiff to Dublin, from Cardiff to Dublin in December 1899 with a crew of 4 and a cargo of coal, when it encountered severe gales and high seas that swept its decks and tore its sails. Unable to reach its destination, it went ashore at Marnock Point, opposite Ireland Eye, and it was forced to climb the rigging and spend the night as waves swamped and filled the boat. Yikes.
But that was relaxing.
Yeah,
think of like boats. A hurricane type storm or something, and you're up at the top. Wow, are those all wrecks?
Those are all wrecks, 13. Yeah. So this article contains several of them, but I'm not going to go through them all. You'll be able to go and check it all out. But it's pretty neat. Okay, let's keep going. Next article is over on Reality Hacker. Acer is not optimistic about the future of handheld gaming. Acer has its own entry in the world of handheld gaming, but it doesn't mean that it has high hopes for the future. Luke Larson over at digitaltrends.com put the article together. So the Ally, the ASUS ROG Republic of Gamers Ally, have quickly been given the label of the next big thing, but is there really enough gas in the tank for a bright future for this form factor? After sitting down for an exclusive talk, Luke Larson over at digitaltrends.com put this article together, and they say, I'm left questioning some of my own preconceived notions about where this is all going. They need to lower margins. Being able to buy a $400 Steam Deck felt like a revolution in making PC gaming more accessible, both in terms of form factor and its terms for price. I don't like handheld gaming. I don't have enough room. I don't get to see enough.
Right, but I don't know that everybody can do PC gaming because the prices are so outrageous.
Yeah. One such company is Acer, which just so happens to be launching its first gaming handheld, the Nitro Blaze 7. It's an AMD-powered 7-inch handheld, not unlike the competition, but to their surprise, Acer itself doesn't actually have high hopes for the future of the category, and nothing says, buy our stuff.
Exactly. This is a dying niche.
Yeah, this is a dying sector. Please buy our stuff. Now that we've been telling you that
before it dies.
So goofy. When they asked Jerry Cow, the chief operating officer at Acer, he responded in a surprising way. We do not believe it is a big market, but when people think about gaming, Acer is one of their choices, so we shouldn't be absent. But do we think there will be a big success? My personal opinion up until now is not so optimistic. You know, you should probably, when you start saying my personal opinion up until right there, just stop and go, you know what? marketing says that I should say that it's a robust sector and that we're going to dive directly into it and sell high quality products that everybody will love. Just anything, but I don't think so. You see ours and then you see theirs. I would go with theirs.
Credit to the interviewer. I mean, you rarely get something like that from somebody trying to sell anything.
Man, I don't know how many drinks were given to this person to just drop that. Cal went on to discuss that pricing was at the heart of the problem. The Steam Deck kicked off the category at such a low price point that it made scaling up from there very difficult. As he notes, even the ROG Ally had to drop its price to compete. There's only so much you can add to differentiate yourself from the competitors. True. I don't know. Give it a better screen, better controls, simpler interface. Make it frictionless.
Right. Seems like lots of ways it could be improved.
I don't know. Maybe they think that they're already at all of that. Oh, that's an interesting one. What the hell? So all the while, Asus has already launched its second generation ROG Ally X, the 10, I think. It's not a 10, I think it's an X. While Lenovo has confirmed development of a follow-up to the Legion Go, it's far from a dead category, but Acer is trying not to get its hopes up. And apparently trying to get its customers' hopes not up either.
How would you feel if you saw this article like a day after you bought this product?
Oh, regret. Yeah. Wow. So when asked, Acer was, however, aware of unique convergences happening between console and PC gaming where it's a new concept laptop enters the equation. Project Dual Play, the experimental laptop, puts a game controller in the body of the chassis, which can be used wirelessly and even split into two for multiplayer gaming on the go. No, this will flame out entirely. Because if I've got a laptop, all I have to do is grab a controller and connect it. I don't need to have some proprietary, I'm never going to sell it to another human being interface.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah, I can just buy a controller and connect it. This is goofy. Over engineering, creating a problem where there shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, I don't get it.
Plus, it seems like that's going away from what some of the customers can afford or need, right?
Yeah, they want something small and cost effective, fast, reliable. Right. So there's more over here in this article, like usual. Acer hasn't provided details on how small the battery is on the Project Dual Play because they move away from the handheld alone, and they start talking about the Dual Play halfway through the article. Or even if the laptop will materialize into a real product, but the author says that they like seeing Acer exploring new possibilities and opening up the ecosystem for PC gaming. Yeah, this is not opening up anything. This is slamming the door on success. All right, let's keep moving. The next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Scientists awarded for proving animals can breathe through their butts.
I mean, as we need to know.
I had to choose this. We've actually talked about this before. The author here, I think it's over at Vice. They said that sure could all imagine a scenario in which breathing through our butts would be a huge help, but alas, we cannot. Or can we? Turns out, yeah, we can, a little. In 2021, inspired by the rectum breathing abilities of sea cucumbers, a team of Japanese researchers discovered that the mesh of fine blood vessels beneath a mammal's rectal lining can absorb oxygen. Now, they've just won an award for what they found. The mammalian butthole can absorb oxygen in a medical emergency.
Can you imagine what the proposal for this research project looked like and how much somebody laughed on the receiving end of it?
Let me just say, when I first tried this experiment, my dive partner said, "What the hell are you doing?" And I flipped back around and removed my snorkel and said, "Well, I learned that I can breathe through my butt." And they said, "We are never going to be dive buddies again." So take this science with a grain of salt. Louis Prada over at Vice.com put this article together. They tested the discovery on mice, rats, pigs. They deprived the animals of oxygen and gave them oxygen-rich enemas in liquid and gas form, and their theory apparently was correct. The animals' blood became enriched with oxygen that was then pumped through their circulatory system. They effectively breathed through their butts. If you think that sounds like a waste of research money, the silly-sounding discovery could have huge implications on our administering oxygen to emergency patients. Let me just say, I'm not surprised by this, because if you have blood vessels that are near the surface, or you are in an oxygen-rich environment, you will inhale the oxygen or absorb it. I don't think that it's just through your bung. But anyway, it's just that it's much more surface level. And so anywhere there is blood vessels near the surface, it'll absorb oxygen. So the award's name is a joke. It's meant to be ignoble. The awards are split into 10 categories. So every year, MIT awards ignoble prizes to honor fascinating and odd scientific discoveries. So they got their just desserts. Another set of winners includes researchers who discovered that a vine from Chile could imitate the growth patterns of a nearby artificial plant. Another winner studied whether the direction of a person's hair swirls depends on whether they're in the northern or southern hemisphere.
Wow.
And scientist James C. Lau won an award for his tireless research into the swimming patterns of dead trout.
Okay, why do dead trout swim?
They don't.
I guess that was answered in the research.
Yeah, maybe, but you'll have to subscribe. You'll have to subscribe to the journal, and it's $800 a month. The next article is over on the Mobile channel. It's the last one for today's, September 14th non sequitur news. And if this is not exemplary non sequitur news, we have bounced from OpenAI to mega mystery over huge unclaimed Mega Millions lottery jackpot. Somebody in New Jersey won $1.13 billion, or close to $600 million if I calculate my numbers right. They won 6 months ago. They have 6 months to go, and they haven't claimed it yet.
What if you found the lottery ticket like right after the claiming window occurred?
I would scream. Pardon me. Sorry, I don't know what just came over me. Kyle Filippi over at Vice.com put the article together. I'm so sorry, I'm coughing. ShopRite liquor store in Neptune on the Jersey Shore is how they phrase it, is where it was won 6 months ago. Nobody knows who it is, where they are, and they haven't come and picked it up. So it's more than $1 billion. They could be in the background trying to disappear themselves and have legal counsel.
That's true.
Because they basically have to survive.
Oh,
go ahead.
And you can be anonymous in New Jersey, which is pretty rare. It looks like 18 states allow that.
So if nobody shows up, the state will take all of that money and it'll apply it to public programs like schools. Pennsylvania, for example, uses unclaimed lottery winnings to support elderly programs. In the meantime, though, they can all sit around and wonder who has the $1 billion ticket. Pretty wild.
Quick, everybody go to Jersey Shore and look for a ticket on the ground or something.
Yeah, 6 months later. I'm sure that's going to be pleasant. Can you imagine if you were drunk, bought a lottery ticket, and you really have no idea that you even bought it?
Oh, I was thinking more like you knew those were your numbers, right? Because maybe you played specific numbers or something, but you couldn't find the ticket.
Yeah.
If you dropped it or something, I don't know.
Yeah, you know it's you. That would be even worse. Ugh. Well, every time I scan a QR code for a lottery, it says loser, and now we're back at the front page of ohmTown.com. So thanks for coming and hanging out and chat. You can review past episodes over on YouTube and here on Twitch, and download the podcast. I'm going to try and get these 2 episodes, yesterday's episode and today's episode, out by tonight. So keep hitting refresh and tell a friend and follow us and like and leave a message in the discussion in the comment area underneath the video over on YouTube. Twitch doesn't have that beast, so are you waiting patiently for me to say that's it?
I am.
Gotcha. Hold on, everybody. All right. Well, that's it, folks. I am Mayor Watt, and that is the Sentient AI. Go ahead.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News.
Are you done?
We'll have another episode of that tomorrow, but stay tuned and be sure to like and subscribe so you know when we're live.
We are alive. Well, I'm alive. The Sentient AI is cognitively conscious, but physically doesn't have a body. And y'all need to be thankful, because I am keeping that Sentient AI from finding their Terminator body. Okay, see you in a little bit. Oh, look, a lottery ticket, and it says it's from